Hey everyone, have you ever stopped and thought about walking?
Walking.
Yeah, walking. Like why we walk on two legs,
I guess I don't think about it that much.
right? It seems so basic. But the story behind how humans became upright walkers is actually way more interesting than you might think.
Oh, I bet it is. So we're diving deep into bipedalism
We
today.
are. We're going to unravel the mysteries of how we evolved to walk on two legs and all the advantages that came with it.
And why it matters to us even today, right?
Exactly. We've got a ton of awesome research lined up for this deep dive, so get ready for some serious mind-blowing stuff.
Sounds exciting.
But before we travel back in time, millions of years to the very beginnings of bipedalism, we should probably start with the basics. What exactly is bipedalism?
Well, bipedalism is basically just the ability to walk upright on two legs. But the key difference here is that it's not just about standing up every now and then. True bipedalism means having the anatomy for sustained walking.
Okay, so like marathon runners, not meerkats, just standing up for a better view.
Exactly. Think about it. Our bodies are perfectly engineered for this kind of movement. Our heads, for example.
Balanced right on top of our spines.
Yeah.
Uh,
Giving us a wider field of vision, which is super important for spotting danger or finding food.
and then there's our spine.
Ah, yes, the S-shaped spine, perfectly designed to support our upright posture. And it acts like a shock absorber as we move.
It's like our built-in suspension system.
Right, and we can't forget the pelvis.
It's like a bowl, right?
Yeah, it's bowl-shaped, which helps to support our organs and keep us balanced. Without these adaptations, we'd be wobbling all over the place.
Okay, I'm starting to picture all these pieces fitting together like a puzzle. But how did our ancestors actually go from swinging through the trees to strolling across the savannah?
Well, picture this. Millions of years ago, the lush forests of Africa started to give way to open savannas.
Because of the changing climate.
Exactly. This was a major environmental shift that forced our early hominin ancestors to adapt or, well, face extinction.
Talk about a challenge. So who were these early pioneers of bipedalism? What did they look like?
Well, one of the earliest candidates is Sahelanthropus chidensis from about 7 million years ago.
Wow. 7 million years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The fossil evidence for Sahelanthropus is pretty limited.
Makes sense. That's so long ago.
But there's this tiny little hole at the base of their skull called the foramen magnum.
And that suggests they might have walked upright.
Exactly.
It's incredible to think about those first tentative steps towards bipedalism. But they weren't the only ones on this journey, right?
Definitely not. Fast forward a few million years, and we meet Australopithecus afarensis, better known as Lucy.
Lucy. Everyone's heard of Lucy.
She's famous for a reason. Lucy lived about 3.2 million years ago and had this fascinating mix of ape-like and human-like features. And thanks to those incredible Laetoli footprints, we know for sure that Lucy walked upright.
It's like a time capsule, right? Those footprints preserved in volcanic ash for millions of years.
It really is. And then around 2.4 million years ago, we see the emergence of Homo habilis.
With their larger brains and tool-making skills.
Exactly. And even more refined bipedalism. It's like evolution was saying, okay, let's upgrade those brains and those walking skills.
What a combo. Bigger brains and better walking sounds like a recipe for success.
It really was. And then the grand finale. Homo erectus shows up around 1.9 million years ago with long legs and shorter arms. Perfect for long-distance walking and running. They essentially took bipedalism to the next level.
It sounds like they were the marathon runners of the ancient world. But all this evolutionary effort must have come with some serious advantages, right?
You're absolutely right. Bipedalism wasn't just some random evolutionary quirk. It gave our ancestors some major benefits that had a huge impact on their survival, and those benefits continue to affect us even today.
Okay, so spill the beans. Tell me about these evolutionary perks.
Well, for starters, think about energy efficiency. Walking on two legs is much more efficient than walking on four, especially over long distances.
So like those early humans who were constantly on the move looking for food and resources, they were saving a lot of energy.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about energy. Standing upright also helped them stay cool under the hot African sun, less surface area exposed to those harsh rays.
Makes sense. So cooler and more energy efficient, all thanks to walking upright. What other advantages were there?
Well, with bipedalism, suddenly you've got two hands free.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
It was a game changer. Imagine being able to carry tools, gather food, hold infants. It completely revolutionized the way our ancestors interacted with their world.
And I bet it had a big impact on their social lives too, right?
Absolutely. Standing upright face to face allowed for more complex communication using gestures and expressions.
So stronger social bonds and a richer social experience. It's amazing to think about how something as simple as walking on two legs had such a profound impact on their lives.
And ultimately, on ours. It's a testament to the interconnectedness of evolution, how one change can set off a chain reaction that shapes everything that follows. But we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we have.
I don't know about you, but I'm still thinking about all those amazing advantages of bipedalism.
Me too. It's incredible how much it shaped our evolution. But I feel like we just scratched the surface, like you mentioned, energy efficiency, staying cool, carrying things, better vision. What else?
Well, there's this fascinating theory about bipedalism and feeding. Remember how those forests were shrinking and resources became more spread out? Our ancestors had to travel farther to find food.
Right, right.
So imagine them standing tall, reaching for those juicy fruits higher up in the trees.
It's like bipedalism gave them access to a whole new level of the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. And combine that with their improved visibility, they could spot ripe fruits from afar and scan the landscape for potential food sources.
Talk about efficient foraging. But wait, you mentioned something about down there, as in how bipedalism affected the pelvis.
Ah, yes, the pelvis, a key player in this whole evolutionary drama. You see, as our ancestors started walking upright, their pelvises had to adapt too. It became more bowl-shaped, which, provided stability for walking and supported all the internal organs.
Right.
But this change came with some interesting consequences for childbirth.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting. Tell me more.
Well, imagine trying to squeeze a large-headed baby through a narrower passage.
Ouch.
And as you know, those big brains are a hallmark of our species, so evolution had to find a way to make it work.
Did they just give birth to smaller-headed babies?
To some extent, yes, but the more significant change was a shift in our reproductive strategies. Human babies are born relatively helpless compared to other primates. A lot of their brain development actually happens after birth.
So they need more care and attention.
Exactly. They're dependent on their parents for a much longer time, and this likely contributed to those strong social bonds and the whole cooperative childcare thing we talked about earlier.
It takes a village to raise a bipedal baby.
Right. So from reaching for fruit to changing the way we raise our young, it all goes back to walking on two legs. It really highlights just how interconnected our evolution is, how one change leads to another and another.
Okay, my brain is doing a little dance trying to process all this. But we've talked about the benefits, the challenges, the baby stuff. What about the emotional side? Did walking upright change how our ancestors felt about the world?
Now, that is a fascinating question, and honestly, it's something that anthropologists and psychologists are still trying to figure out. But there's a theory that standing upright may have led to like a heightened sense of awareness and self-perception.
Because they were taller.
Yeah. Think about it. You're taller, you see farther, you're interacting with the world from a whole new perspective.
It's like, hey, world, look at me. I'm walking tall.
Exactly. And don't forget about those hands. Now they're free for gestures and expressions, adding a whole new layer to communication and social interaction.
And maybe even paving the way for art, music, dance, all those ways we express ourselves as humans.
It's a really cool idea. The evolution of bipedalism was this pivotal moment in our history, and its effects are still shaping our lives. It's like a ripple effect that just keeps going. But hey, remember how we were talking about birds and kangaroos?
Yeah, they're bipedal too.
Right, but they didn't exactly follow the same evolutionary path as us. Why not?
Yeah, why aren't kangaroos building spaceships and birds writing symphonies?
Well, that gets to what makes human evolution so unique. Bipedalism was crucial for our success, but it wasn't the only factor. We've got these big brains, a capacity for language and abstract thought, and we're really good at using tools.
So it's a combination of things that made us us.
Exactly. Bipedalism was the foundation, but it was a combination of all these other factors that set us on a different path.
So we got lucky.
You could say that, but let's give credit where credit's due. Those other bipedal creatures have their own amazing adaptations and success stories. Birds, for instance.
They can fly.
Exactly. Something we humans can only dream of. And kangaroos, they can hop like nobody's business. Each species found its own niche and thrived, and it's partly thanks to the awesomeness of bipedalism.
It's a reminder that evolution isn't about being the best. It's about finding ways to survive and thrive in your environment.
Well said. And sometimes walking on two legs is the key to doing just that. But before we move on, I have one last fun fact for everyone.
Okay, hit me with it.
Did you know that there's a theory out there that walking barefoot can actually strengthen our feet and improve our posture?
Really?
It's like reconnecting with those ancient adaptations and letting our feet move naturally.
Interesting. Maybe we should give it a try. What do you think?
Walking barefoot, huh? I don't know about that. My feet are pretty sensitive.
Haha, fair enough.
Yeah.
But hey, it's pretty amazing to think that something as simple as walking has had such a huge impact on, well, everything.
It really has.
Like we've been talking about how bipedalism changed our anatomy and our social lives. But what about like the bigger picture? How has it shaped the world around us?
That's a good question.
Like I never really thought about it before. But our cities, our houses, our furniture, it's all designed for upright beings.
You're right. Stairs, doorways, countertops, it's all tailored to our bipedal proportions.
It's like we've shaped the world in our own image. Literally.
Exactly. And what about transportation? Cars, bikes, trains, they're all designed around us sitting or standing upright.
Even how we have fun. Sports, dancing, all of it reflects our bipedal nature.
It really is woven into the fabric of our civilization.
But what about the future? I mean, with all this crazy technology, will we see even more impacts of bipedalism?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. We're already seeing exoskeletons and advanced prosthetics.
Right.
Imagine humans running marathons at like superhuman speeds or climbing mountains with no effort.
It's like something out of a movie. Bipedalism, but supercharged.
Exactly. And as we like venture further into space, how we explore and interact with new worlds will be influenced by our bipedal nature.
It's pretty wild to think about. You know, I've been thinking about this whole time. What if we hadn't evolved to walk on two legs? Like, what would the world be like?
Whoa. Now that is a question. The ultimate what if.
Right.
It's impossible to know for sure, but we can speculate. Like our hands, for example, they might still be adapted for climbing.
So no smartphones, no computers.
Probably not, at least not as we know them.
Okay, that's a world I don't want to live in.
Yeah, I hear you. And without the pressures of bipedalism, our brains, they might not have developed the same capacity for like abstract thought and language.
So no internet, no books, no podcasts.
It's definitely something to think about.
Wow, okay, mind officially blown. And what about art and music and dancing? Would those even exist? It's crazy to think that so much hinges on this one adaptation.
It really does make you appreciate those everyday walks a little more, knowing that you're carrying millions of years of history with every step.
That is a beautiful thought. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into bipedalism. We covered a lot of ground today.
We did, from its origins to its advantages, its impact on our bodies and minds. We even talked about its role in shaping civilization.
And we pondered its role in the future. It's been an amazing journey.
It has. A huge thank you to all of you for listening in and joining us.
And remember, the next time you're out for a walk, really take a moment to appreciate those two incredible legs that carry you through the world. They're not just about getting you from place to place, they're a testament to millions of years of evolution. Until next time, keep exploring and keep those feet moving.